Look, when you're a footballer, it's almost like you have to put all your eggs in one basket. Anyway, that's how players feel. That's the consensus among the group of players that, you're so focused on your job and you're so focused on whether it's the next game or earning your next contract that, you commit every minute and every second, and, your blood, sweat and tears to doing that exact thing. You have all your aspirations and your hopes and dreams as a young child, and I was pretty fortunate to be able to achieve most of those, if not all of them. Play at the highest level in my country, represent my country, win championships. But the reality is that, when you're reading that fairy tale, that story, they don't give you the real ending, which is what happens after that. And I think that's the biggest shock of being a professional athlete. And for the first few months, it was like I was getting up in the morning, showering, getting dressed, and I had nowhere to go. I had nothing to do, and I was like, I was a bit lost for a while. I guess I was pretty fortunate because of my beliefs and my faith that I never really got too disheartened, and I didn't really fall through depression and kind of lose too much track. But at the same time, I was lost in the sense that I didn't know what I was going to do next. And it was like going from being told and having a schedule from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, knowing what to do, where to be, what uniform to wear, to all of a sudden, having so much free time and not knowing what to do with it was pretty challenging. Look, I've been pretty fortunate now. I'm still involved in the game. Did a lot of work in the community with the big issue involving football, with the street soccer community programs, in the prison systems as well, which I still continue. And now I find myself working in a school, running a football program. Hopefully being able to pass on some knowledge and experiences to the younger generation. Not just about becoming a footballer, but sport can teach you so many things. It's just not about becoming a better soccer player, but becoming a better person as well. Completely honest, towards the end of my career, I never really thought that, what am I going to do next when I finish playing? Because, like I've said before, as a professional player, you're thinking about your next contract, you're thinking about your next game, and I always had in the back of my mind, my next contract, when's it coming? It wasn't until probably the last month or two where I thought, wow, this is real now. I'm probably not going to be in the professional environment. What's next? And that was like, a big stumbling block. I had no idea what to do. Definitely one of the scariest moments as a pro footballer and, as a family man with a young family, wanting to be a provider, not knowing what my next job was, where my next income was going to come from, was definitely a scary moment. For us, thinking about, something else that wasn't football, it's almost like a chink in your armour or a weakness. So you're thinking, well, I'm not 100% focused on, being an A-League player and, producing week in, week out. I can't be thinking about what's next, So that's the real challenge, I think, for players, for athletes, is being able to get that balance. Yeah, look, I just thought I'd slip into a role somewhere, whether it was at my ex-club or drop down a division and play and then coach there, or, you just think you're at the top of your sport for so long, and, you make contacts and you meet people, and the thing is that, people aren't going to think, what's Roddy Vargas doing? He's finished his contract. The assumption is that, you've played A-League, you've played for the Socceroos. The assumption is you'll have opportunities everywhere. People will be dying to give you jobs, but the reality is that everybody's probably thinking, well, he's set. He's set for life. He's had a good career. He's probably got something to fall back on. So people don't ask you. People don't come up and say, what are you doing? The onus is really on the player to go out there and look for work and look for jobs and make contact with people and network. Which is something that's very hard for us. Because our network is our team, our club, our coaches, our staff. That's our network, and it's very hard to go out and talk to people about jobs and can you help me here, can you help me there, because our job is on the field and that's what we're good at. As much as it is a team game, you control how well you play, you control where you're at. And when football finishes, it's an unknown for us to go out and ask for help and basic things like writing a resume. A lot of guys wouldn't know where to start. We've never done it before, and to ask someone for help, it's like saying, can you show me how to kick a ball? Or can you show me where to make a run? it's stuff that we just know that, you know, when we finish playing, we have no idea where to start. Football's given me everything. It's given me, you know, a great life. It's, you know, it's funny, as funny as it is to say it's, you know, I got my wife through football as well. I mean, it's a funny story, but, you know, I met her at church, but, you know, my actual first date came because of a football game. You know, it was a bet with a friend, and I was a pretty shy guy, but football's given me everything. You know, as a young kid, it's taught me so much, you know, and I try and instill this with the young kids now that I work with, that not only football, but sport teaches you so much, you know. It teaches you how to deal with, you know, setbacks. You know, it teaches you values. It teaches you discipline, to be on time, you know, to bring the right uniform, you know, to respect others, how to work with different people of different ages, of different cultures. There was a point where I kind of said, look, you know, I'm not going to pursue the A-League anymore. As much as I wanted to, I needed to really sort of step back and focus on other things. Having a young family, I needed to prioritise them. And, you know, I know a lot of players that have young families, they give up so much. You know, every weekend you're away, and pre-season and interstate and international games. So for me, it was a really good time to spend, you know, with family now, and, you know, get a 9 to 5, you know, and just be a, you know, be more around for the family, you know, and still be in Melbourne and sit back and be able to enjoy the games more. Then you need to be selfish. And I say that in the best way possible because, you know, I experienced it too. You know, my baby girl was born while I was in the A-League, you know, and as hard as it is, you know, it was selfish because, I mean, I was going interstate every 2 weeks while my wife was at home with a 2-week-old. But that's just the job. That's just, you know, you need to be a little bit selfish, but at the same time, like I said, you need to have that balance. You know, that's the other side of football that you don't see, you know. People just see the 90 minutes on the weekend, you know, or the training, but they don't see the other side of football, you know. It's the selfish bit that everybody loves and enjoys, you know, seeing you on the field, but then what happens after that?